My friends, what is going on? Wanted to jump in here and make the quick video that I promised. I'm going to keep this relatively short. Haven't been feeling very well lately. I'm going to try to keep the coughing down as well. But I kind of promised a video, kind of what I'm looking for overall market-wise. If you haven't done so already, please follow me on Twitter, Colin_Gladman. Easiest way to keep up with updates and ideas, where I'm going to post a lot of the different trade ideas that I'm going to be looking for. And if you're new to the channel, thank you. I appreciate you. If you're an old dog, you guys know the deal. I appreciate you guys. Please like and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff. All right. So I'm sure you guys have seen this chart. If you follow me, you've definitely seen it. But there's definitely a lot of people talking about it right now on FinTwit, which is basically just we're coming up to our big bear trend resistance line, and we've basically been forming this rising wedge going into it. Now today we saw not just horrible red day, but we definitely saw a red day across the markets. And I was talking about how at the end of the day, you caught a perfect bounce right on the 618 and the uptrend that we've been tracking pretty much since the October lows. So from right here, if essentially you went long or bought calls essentially on this trend line every single time, overall, you're getting big moves off this trend line, okay? These aren't little moves. You see, you got big move here. That move, 6% move. The next time you touched, you caught a 4% move. The next time you touched it, obviously this is the big one, that's the CPI one, 7% move. This is when Powell was talking last week, a 4% move. So statistically, you should see like a 4 to 7% move right here. Now I don't think these other ones, they did have some catalysts that were coming with them. We don't really have any catalysts coming up. Now, we do have next week, on Tuesday of next week, we've got the December CPI print. But as far as like tomorrow morning before market open, we don't have anyone. But, a 4% move here, and that would take you past the bear trend line. And so I would be surprised to see that type of move. We're coming to the end of this rising wedge. Typically how you see these play out is you're going to see, kind of a retest and then a further dump out. That's typically, from a technical analysis standpoint, that's how you would be looking at how this eventually is going to play out. So short term, though, I do think that there are reasons to be bullish, as far as getting another push, further up this channel. Now, can it push too much higher before you're going to run into that bear trend? No, it really can't. So, and if this 618 doesn't hold, like I said on Twitter, I do think you're going to see that 3,900 come relatively quickly. So if SPY, for me, essentially, if SPY doesn't hold, basically right around 393. So if SPY doesn't hold, I'll just throw a line up here real quick. This is kind of my line in the sand right here for SPY. So if SPY breaks down, if it doesn't hold this 393, it gets below this 393, then you're going to see these lower lows come relatively quickly at that point in time. I think you'll see 370s come really quick. Now, once again, nothing just, automatically goes straight up or goes straight down, but we're coming to those areas and levels on SPY where it's time to be a little cautious. It's time to be a little nervous. So this trend line, kind of same thing, what I was just showing on SPX, that it's been tracking this, trend line here very well. So I do anticipate a move upward. Now, I anticipate this bounce to be a weaker one, maybe even back up here to around that 405 level before eventually starting to dump back out. As far as VIX, so is the volatility index, it just got to that point where it wasn't smart, to be really long in the markets anymore. Typically, anytime we've seen VIX get down here into this 18 to 19 range, then that's when you see the runs top out in the markets. Now, eventually, is this going to end? Absolutely. I've said multiple times, I don't think, the market has seen its all-time highs. I just don't think that we've seen enough reasons from a macroeconomic standpoint to really start getting bullish overall. Housing's only getting worse. Personal debt is only getting worse. The used car market is only getting worse. Interest rates are going to continue. Even if you go, well, they're not raking them as they're not, hiking them as much. No, I agree with that. My concern for the December FOMC meeting is going to be that they are going to raise the interest rates to 0.5. 0.75 would be a disaster in December, but excuse me, I'm sorry. But I do think that the interest rates, my biggest fear is they're either going to raise it 50 or 75 basis points, and then they're going to come out and say, we don't think that, they've talked about easing it up and hopefully be done by March. My fear is that they're going to back off that, and that they're going to have to continue. I was surprised, with full disclosure, I was surprised how kind of dovish, if you will, how Powell seemed like he was backing off a little bit this last time he talked, and that's when you saw this big move right here. But I am concerned that, when it's time to go to bat, so to speak, I think they're going to have to continue tightening even more, and so that's going to lead me to believe what gives us that next leg down in the market. I've always said somewhere between maybe 350 to 330 might be where the bottom comes in SPY, and I absolutely could be wrong. So if you're a bull right here, what you'd want to see is creeping up, holding this trend line right here, creeping up to right around. Look at that. It's going to be almost perfect. So right around Tuesday of next week, you're sitting right here, which is going to be my guess. Whether this turns into a double top or whether this turns into just a retest and then, plow right on through it. And so, and if it does, break this trend right here. So if we do get above 409, then we'll see, 430 relatively quickly at that point in time. But overall, if you see like a real low volume push, man, I'm gonna be more bearish than I am going to be bullish. And once again, I know that's not just super surprising, but it's the reality of it. And until I see a clear trend change, I'm not going to fight the trend. And I just don't see it right now that there's a massive reason to go, oh, we've seen the end of the downside. I still think that we're going to see another leg down. So what would invalidate that for me is going to be a push above, and the volume gets really strong right here, then a kind of weak volume sell-off, and then another continued push up at that point in time. Or if we start getting some news that things really are easing, then that's going to be the bull case. Okay, so short term I'm going to be bullish, and then long term I'm going to be bearish, and then long term I'm going to be super bullish, because like I said, I don't think the market has seen its all-time highs or anything like that. So you want to see how is this how are these key levels right here, how are these key fibs, how are they going to do it. So like I said, you gotta hang on to this trend line. If this trend line rolls over and then it open tomorrow, you test and they get rejected off, then that might be it right there at that point in time. So we're at key levels. So take it one day, one level at a time. Don't be the perma bull, don't be the perma bear. Real quick, lastly, with AMC, I said it would look like it was probably going to come down and test 750. Actually got a little bit lower than that, got to 740 before it started to push back up. So you want to see it hold. You want to see some continuation tomorrow if the overall market is green. You want to see it starting to do one of these. To come up here and retest the 200 moving average. No matter what, you definitely want to see this 0.5 hold. If this starts, doing one of these, then you're going to fully distribute on down. I'm quite certain at that point in time. So I would say I'm 50-50 right now. Like I said on Twitter, overall this move looks healthy. The volume has remained low, but if it starts picking up to the downside, if the overall market starts looking bad, then obviously that's not good. Okay, so this is just pulling up futures right here. I told my Discord I expected a test to kind of push up here and come down. It looks like it's not making it that high right now, but it could just do one of these, catch a fib. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah, so it could come down here, maybe to the 382 before continuing upwards. So a lot of time left on futures. So like I said, overall I anticipate a little bit of relief tomorrow, but it's at some key levels. So if SPY loses 397, I think you'll see 393 relatively quickly, and then that's kind of my line in my sand for that. All right, it's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Wish you guys all the best. Once again, follow me on Twitter. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Much love, my friends.